My name is Nathan Okuley. I am a digital brand strategist and a social media marketing consultant. I've been in the industry for about 8 years now, and I've worked with a variety of companies ranging from large brands to the agency environment and small business. I would say the first step is really understanding the audience. Once you know the audience and you know what they're looking for from your brand, you can really make that decision as what stance we're going to take. I joke a lot about Wendy's, who has taken a very unique position on their Twitter strategy. And not everybody can be Wendy's. Not everyone can be snarky or smart or quick-witted. You have to think about the intention of the tone that you have, whether it's meant to bring in people and build a new tribe, or it's meant to maintain, or if it's even meant to differentiate. In the instance of Wendy's, that's entirely a differentiation play. Everyone knows that Wendy's sells burgers. The next step for them was to dive into this personality that made them different. It got them talked about. When I work with a brand, I develop what I call a content strategy, the overview of everything we're doing across all channels that develops that sense of consistency. In that process, I create what I call content buckets, which are essentially areas of content that help your content generators or your content strategists to determine these are the things that we talk about, or here's how we talk about blank. So it's entirely based on the consumer journey and identifying what role social media plays in your organization. For a lot of young brands or a lot of starting up brands, it's entirely brand awareness. However, more established brands like a Coca-Cola or a McDonald's have already done that, so it's entirely based off of getting them to the next step, which is either driving them in store, bringing them to a website, or having them digest more content across a certain channel. With analytics, I often talk about starting with the high-level vanity metrics. Things like likes and impressions can give you an understanding of brand awareness if you're in that phase for the business. But let's say you're an established brand and you're trying to take it to the next level, you're going to focus on engagements. Having the analytical lens in everything you do just makes you a better marketer, it makes you a better communicator. Saying I have 5.4 million of something feels really great if you're talking to somebody that's looking for big numbers or looking for a wow factor. When in fact 5.4 million impressions can actually be bought by a brand. So I would rather push the engagement metric that is not being bought, but is truly an interaction between consumer and brand, and then applying it there to help figure out how are we going to drive that through to something that truly matters, which in most cases is bottom line revenue. Dive in, take risks, take chances, go out and try to figure out a strategy specific to a brand that you love. When I work with college students that are looking for the perfect internship or they're looking for the perfect first job, I always tell them to choose the business that they want to work for, make a Word document or a Google document, and start writing content as if you were the community manager or the content creator for that brand. If the opportunity does come to reach out to that brand, send them the content that you had and ask for feedback. It's a gateway into the door if you're just getting started. It gets you into the rhythm and the habit of always thinking about content, and it also shows that you have the initiative to kind of step up and go above and beyond a resume drop. Don't look at content from 4 or 5 years ago. The shelf life of social media-based content is very short because the landscape has changed, even within the last few months. So if you're going out and researching articles or media or resource guides, make sure you look at the date. My advice for students that are getting into social media is to not be afraid to work for free, at least as you're getting started. Going out and asking brands if you can provide consultation. There's a lot of businesses in your own neighborhood that could use your help and your support with just an ounce of strategy. When you're looking for your first role as an intern or you're looking for a full-time job, your social media profiles from a personal perspective often have just as much weight as your resume might have. So as a social media professional, as we're looking at resumes, the first thing I'm going to do is Google your name and figure out what kind of content you create for yourself. You have to be very cognizant and aware of the content that you're creating and the audiences that do have access towards it. I look for people that have a consistent accountability to the content that they push out, because I know that that behavior will apply to how they impact my brand.